So we're going to talk about getting started with SharePoint agents. So we could have actually done this in a different order as well, because SharePoint agents is technically a no-code agents. We went through first a bit of a custom agent models with Teams AI Toolkit, but let's now deep dive on the getting started with SharePoint agents, which is really the easiest way to get started on creating your agents for Microsoft 365 Copilot. Now, technically, this works really easily. So, of course, in Microsoft Ignite, we already announced that this is now GA and this is available. But what it basically means that with SharePoint, you can create agents which are based on data and information within a documents super easily. Most of your files, many of our customer files are actually stored in SharePoint, and you can actually just create these agents with a click of a button based on the files, based on the site, and all of that. And we're going to see that in the demo today. So we also are rolling out additional set of agents, obviously, as part of the Copilot, and a lot of features coming up as well. Today, we'll talk a bit about the future roadmap on the SharePoint agents as well. But with SharePoint agents, we really want to make sure that you who are invested in Microsoft 365, you have your, let's say, HR guidance, your product specification, your IT guidance information, all of that stuff available already in SharePoint. You can actually create agents out of all of those things super easily, and you're able to expose those agents in Microsoft Teams with chats in the same way as we saw in the previous demo, or you're able to engage with them by yourself. But there's multiple ways of actually doing this and using these agents in the future. So really great opportunity and option to get started on using Copilot with your custom agent. And then, of course, you're able to extend even further with Copilot Studio on top of Microsoft SharePoint agents. Now, a lot of the stuff, obviously, the content, the files and data, news, and all of that stuff is actually stored in SharePoint. The agents are the ones which we empower actually even end users to create, depending on settings, depending on administrative configuration options. We're going to talk about and reference point all of that guidance today as well. But you're able to actually create agents, and then you're able to take those agents directly into a discussion, for example, in conversation in Microsoft Teams, which is a great option to more efficiently access the information which you have stored within the Microsoft 365. And this really drives the business transformation, because now we're talking about AI-powered AI giving us more productivity, AI getting us more efficient, AI giving us access on all of the information much more efficiently than just in the previous technologies. And we're going to see all of that within the demo as well. Now, the common business cases, I think we've gone through some of this in the past demos as well. But if we think about the common use cases, customer services, if you are a support personnel, you have a question from the customer in a GitHub or in a whatever ticketing system, having an agent in place where you can ask in a natural language, hey, we have this kind of case, do you have a matching cases, or what is the guidance for this? Having an agent, an AI agent answering those questions directly, and we're able to bypass the information for customers. Really great example. Sales example, increasing sales conversion rates, making it more efficient for comparing between the sales engagements, financial engagement, marketing engagement. I've actually done a lot of, from a marketing perspective, I've been doing for example, this week planning of some upcoming live streams in YouTube, and I've been brainstorming that together with Copilot 365, which is actually incredibly powerful. So having somebody to talk to on making sure that you go through the right steps, walking through what are the OKRs, what are the objectives of the live streams, all of that. So not just having yourself thinking through those things, having somebody who's brainstorming with you to be more efficient and be more productive and giving stuff available. And of course, HR, legal, law stuff, all of that is a great example of checking some information based on HR information. You need to ask that, hey, how many days do I actually get time off this year? Depending on a company, you're able to get all of that information just in a natural language as an answer in the agent format. Now, as we start creating these agents, we do have multiple different ways of doing those. We technically can provide or divide the different options to no code, low code, and pro code options. There's few different ways of actually categorizing these things, but the no code option is SharePoint agents. So technically, we can just create SharePoint agents with a click of a button. I think I promised 20 seconds in the title of the demo today. Let's actually do a counting as we go through the demo. Is it 20 seconds or not? Then on top of that, we can absolutely use Agent Builder, which is powered by the Copilot Studio. It is basically a super easy to do agents directly within Microsoft 365 Copilot chat, so that we have the Agent Builder placed over there. Then if we need to do a bit more advanced scenarios, actions, and integration of backend systems, all of that, Copilot Studio is great on that. Technically, Copilot Studio does give you the option of creating also custom engine agents. So Copilot Studio is a really broad, so we wouldn't just say that it's low code. Technically, it's also no code or pro code. So Copilot Studio is really hard to actually put on this map. And then we have the Teams Toolkit for giving the pro code options, like we saw actually the demo today. And then, of course, we have the AI Foundry and Azure OpenAI options on top of that. So it's not just limited in here, but if you think about extending Microsoft 365 Copilot, you could actually, in higher level, you could kind of categorize these options in here. Now, we're going to go through the demos. There's a great question, actually, on Carol in the chat. I'm going to call this out for those who are watching the video as well. The question is about, what about SharePoint lists? Is SharePoint list currently available? Right now, as this recording is happening, SharePoint list data is not yet under the Copilot intelligence, so to say. So it's not getting indexed using the semantics index. So that information is not available. So that's right now the limitations or the functionalities are focused more on files. All of this is evolving. We're going to talk about the roadmap after coming back from the demo. So there's a lot of stuff which is evolving within weeks or within months and within upcoming years. So nothing is locked for now. This is just getting started. Now, let's actually have a look on the baseline experience on SharePoint agents, and let's see if my 20 seconds estimate is accurate. So I'm going to go to my demo tenant here, which we've been using for a lot of demos in recently. I'm going to create a site. Wait a minute, why am I creating sites? So, well, let's walk this through. So I'm going to create a site. Doesn't really matter if it's a team site or communication site anymore, because I'm just creating a site. There's certain starting point differences between these in a layout, but you can basically make them both look exactly the same. We can select a template if we want. I'm not going to select the template, so we're going to be a bit faster. Well, actually, let's go back in here. Let's make it look a bit nicer. Now, that's not a good template. Let's go back in here. Let's do Learning Portal. That's good. There we go. And let's give it a name and call this as a Learning Portal. And I'm going to create the site. Select language is in English. And at this moment of a time, the site creation actually already started. Applying templates is ongoing. If we are calculating seconds, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I said 20, which is pretty close because I started calculating pretty late. Now, what I mean with the fact that an agent was created within 20 seconds is that every single SharePoint site is by default an agent. And what we mean with that is that technically we have a Copilot already available here, and we have an agent automatically created for the site. So any information and files which I'm getting uploaded on the site are directly available within this agent. That's basically the default agent within this site. And then I have some additional agents available from other sites within the tenant, which are listed there. But now if I upload any files to any document library within this site, they're underneath this experience and I can start asking questions on it. That's kind of cool. Okay, so I can do 20 seconds. We can have an agent which is then capable using the OpenAI 4.0 and doing semantics index behind the documents. I can ask information. Kind of cool, and I don't need to deep dive on the documents. I can just ask the relevant documents directly within the chat. Now, in this case, I just created the site, so there's no content. That's a bad demo. So let's actually go to a site which was created previously, which is a solar energy site, which I've created a pretty long time ago already for a lot of the demos. But in this case, let me actually open up the site data. This is basically a site dedicated for our solar energy products, and the information within the site contains product information. So now I can start asking something like, hey, do we know any information? Let me actually zoom in a bit. Yeah, on A200 series panel. So I don't know what's in the site. I don't know the document structure. It's just a lot of files in here, but I can actually start asking questions because I know this is the location where all of our product information is being stored. I don't need to search for it. I don't need to, find the relevant information inside of the doc files. All of that information is available directly within a chat because I know somewhere within the site, in the document libraries, that relevant information is. So now I can start asking relevant questions about my business case, about my need on that moment. And I can ask, for example, benefits of A200 panels and all of that, and it's able to actually give me that. So I don't need to go to the file. I don't need to open up the file. I don't need to solve the benefits. What are the benefits of 200 panels? No. The agent is giving me the results directly. The SharePoint site agent is giving me directly the results, which is kind of cool. Now, where it actually gets really interesting, the agents and SharePoint agents, is also the fact that I can have multiple agents in a single site. And what we mean with that one is that I can create as many agents as needed based on the information what I have. So as an example, we could actually go to solar panel estimates within the document folder, and we can see completed installation projects. Let me close that for a while. And we can see that we have like 10 different installation projects, which we have done at some point on the customers. So let's go to the Vans project plan. Let's have a look on that one quickly. That document is something like a Contoso 400 installation on Vans property, Santa Barbara, California. Okay, so these are basically summaries of what we have done for our customers around our products. That's pretty cool. So let's now create a quick agent on this one. And there it is, an agent is created. So what I technically did, nothing more than selected the files and click create an agent, and I have my own agent available ready to get used. Now I can edit the agent. I can basically say this is my customer projects agent, which is dedicated for that folder. I have the description. This is really the description for the end user on what does this agent actually provide. So we can basically say this is an agent around our customer projects for future reference. Good. Let's quick the typos. There we go. And then I have the sources tab. Sources tab is really interesting because from here we can actually see where exactly, what are the files and what were the files we actually included in as the source files. We also can see things like add advanced customizations in Copilot Studios. So this is something which is coming up later. So we're able to actually get the SharePoint agent migrated directly to the Copilot Studio. So SharePoint agent first, and then if you need to have more advanced capabilities, then you're able to move it in the Copilot Studio. And the behaviors, it's then something which actually focuses on the agent behavior. So this is something, if you're familiar with ChatGPT or creating agents in some of the other platforms, you basically have the welcome message, which is for end user. We have the starter prompts. Those are the ones which we can see on the right side here. It could be something like what projects we have around, deployed around A400 series panel. There we go. So as a starting point, and I can actually test it right away, and I can run it, and I can actually see, do we actually get example results from the A400 panels? And it's basically giving us the information and also read details around that deployments. And I could actually start deep diving again on the exact details on that panel and product information. And then we also have the instruction for agent. This is technically the system prompt, which you can modify the behavior of that agent. So you could actually make the agent really focused on certain scenarios, tell it to behave certain ways in a certain tone, which is something what we would typically include in here. But that's kind of how we create this. So super simple to create. We just select, I'm going to actually close, well, actually, let's save this and close this one. And we just select the files, create an agent, and we are good to go. And right now, as I created this agent in here, if I refresh the document library, we can actually see my agent file getting created. So the cool thing about agent files is also that the agents which we create in SharePoint, they are actually files. And what I mean with that one is that these files can really easily be shared, and they actually, of course, follow up on the permissions, behaviors as files. So if I share it to you, you need to have, if I share it to you with a sharing link, you can get access on it, but it always looks for the permissions and it never gives any information about any of the files. If you don't have permissions to it, all of the echoes and all of that actually are available on that thing. Now, the individual files themselves, they are files. And if we quickly do the classic example on this one, so if I download this file to my device, if I open up the file, let's see where it actually opens. It opened in my Visual Studio Code. So what I did, I downloaded the file and I open up the file in the Visual Studio Code. We can actually see that these are actually let me actually put it in JSON, declarative copilot. And let me always forget about it. Where's the format? Format. Now my quick numbers are thinking. Anyway, let's do that. No.
I think you can right-click and do format. If I'm now.
Yes, that's actually a good point. Thank you. Format selection. There we go. Excellent. So now, if you have a look on the JSON file, a bit more detailed, or the file agent file in a bit detailed, it is actually JSON definition, and we can see the configuration in here. We can also see that the files are coming from that particular folder structure, and that lists that unique item and a folder and all of that. So it is a declarative copilot, because it's defining its content and limitation and behavior within the JSON in a declarative format. So, and that's actually the image which we see as the image of the agent. Now, in my case, I have actually here one previously created agent. So let me actually close that one. And let me actually go one step up here. Let's go to the document side. Something really classical, which is super valuable about the SharePoint agent, would be something like product specification. So yes, I could use search. I could find the relevant files, and I can easily ask about A200 series file behavior. If we have a look on the files, by the way, let's have a quick look on those. These are basically just file details on the product offerings, what the company has. But forcing me as the end user to go through files and have a look on the benefits of those files is not necessarily as beneficial and fast than me going to the actual agent. And I can actually ask about, for example, so an FAQ for A200 panel solar, or I could say something like, what is the specification for mounted solar panel array for 1,500, 200 square feet homes? I don't know even what that means because in the European square feet doesn't mean a thing. But for US people, I think that doesn't mean a thing. So, but I could actually start asking questions from that. So rather than me, again, going to the product files and starting to review the content and trying to figure out which panel would be suitable for the 1,500, 200 square meter feet homes, I can ask from the agent. And I'm saving so much time, and it's actually giving me the insights and all of that panel types and details as well. But it's giving me the insights that, well, the suitable panel for that size home would be a 100. That's actually really cool. So I'm saving a lot of time. Now, the cool thing doesn't actually just end there. And again, in a one SharePoint site, you get the default copilot, but you can actually create as many copilots based on the folders and files and whatever is your use case. I can actually take these agents and I can take them with me. And what I mean with that one is that I can, for example, offer my frontline workers easy access on that agent using Microsoft Teams, which is the easiest way to then ask questions about the information, or for example, the product information. So now if we can see the product specification agent is in here, if I select that one, we can see that it's the same agent which we're using just previously. If I see FAQ, if I run that one, let's double check that it's actually working properly. Showing FAQ A200 panel array, getting ready, and here we go. We can actually get the information. Cool, that is all working properly. So now what I can do is take this with me and take this not just in a SharePoint, but I can take it to Teams as well. So if I copy this URL, it's now copied. I can actually go to Teams and have a discussion directly with the Copilot by myself, or I could do something like a start a discussion with CJ, like let's invite CJ on this one. And start, have you reviewed the latest around A200 panels? There's a small typo there, but it doesn't actually matter. But we could, of course, have a discussion with the CJ around those panels. But wouldn't it be cool, because we have the agent, that we are able to get the agent involved? And that's really the beauty of these agents as well. So I can actually get the agent involved in the chat with us right now in the private chats or the discussion and group chats, pretty soon also in channel chats and all the different other scenarios. So now if I say get that one involved, so there we go. We have a agent coming involved. At this moment of a time, it will actually double check that CJ has access on the permissions. It would actually give us warnings on all of that stuff if needed. I can add the agent as part of our discussion. And then I can say something like, hey, well, CJ is not the specialist, but we have the product specification agent, which is the specialist about our products. So now I can start asking questions from it directly, or I can say product specification agent. What would be the what would be the right home size for a 100 panel series solar panels? So now I'm actually asking the questions directly from the agent, and the agent is actually answering me based on the information within those files. Once again, me as an end user, I don't need to go to the files, start reviewing the files, opening all of the thousands of files. It will actually give me the answers. So now you can think of this as a frontline workers with their iPads visiting customers, or in a building site accessing Microsoft Teams, and they can actually start asking right answers and information around the specifications and whatever the files are containing based on their business case directly within the Microsoft Teams. The most magical thing also is that I can actually flip the language if needed. So the agents are smart enough to give me answers and information also in different languages. So now if I'm saying, voitko kertoa minulle A200-sarjan aurinkopaneeleista? Let's say how many actually understood what I'm asking. The beauty of the agents and LLMs is that they are smart enough to understand the language which I'm actually using. So even though the source files are in English, oh, and I'm missing actually who am I asking that? I didn't ask that. Let's copy that and product specification agent, and let's actually add the question over there. Oh, nope, that's not what I'm actually trying to do. Come on. Why are you here? Okay, here we go. Product, let's mention the product specification agent. There we go. And let's ask the question in Finnish directly from it. That is, by the way, Finnish. If you don't understand, that's Finnish. The product specification agent is all of a sudden smart enough to understand that, oh, wait a minute, this person actually is looking into this information, but they seem to be using Finnish. So therefore, what I'm going to do is something super magical, and I'm going to answer in Finnish. So it's going to translate the information which it actually has in the English, in those English source files, but it's going to translate that to the end user's language because it's using LLM and multilingual language translation capabilities, and it's giving me the answers in Finnish format around the questions. And that's pretty magical, right? That's really, really cool. Now I'm watching the clock. We are a bit over time. I do apologize on that one. I got a bit distracted because it's exciting features, but I want to call out a few things. So on the roadmap in November, we called out a few things. So edit and share ready-made SharePoint agents. Right now, the ready-made SharePoint agents are basically site-level agents, and you cannot edit and share them easily. And that's all in the roadmap. Include OneDrive files, create your own customized agents in OneDrive, create agents for your SharePoint hub sites. All of that is in the roadmap. The Copilot Studio integration for advanced customization is in the roadmap as well. So you can start with SharePoint agents with the snap of a finger, and then you can start modifying, extending them more in the Copilot Studio. Now, if you're interested in using SharePoint Agent, we do have a SharePoint Agent trial promotion ongoing. So if you do have more than 50 Microsoft Copilot licenses, Microsoft 365 Copilot licenses in your organization, you qualify for 10,000 free SharePoint Agent queries for unlicensed users every month as trial for free. And this is a great option to get familiar if your organization has a small amount of Copilot licenses already acquired, and no Copilot licensed persons can actually already start using the SharePoint agents as well. Great option. Here's a set of links for all of that information. So the trial agents getting started, pay-as-you-go option as well is available. So you don't have to necessarily have the Copilot license for everybody or a subset of people. So that option is available. All of those details available in our documentation. Thank you, David, for sharing the links in the chat. A lot of guidance and options available here.